Last
There we go.
session, it only recorded my microphone. It didn't record anything else, so it's annoying.
Okay, so I got everybody up there. Regretfully, I have to turn off the music because Big Daddy YouTube is finical about that, thinking we're trying to impose on copyrights, which we never are. I think there should be some properties that just everyone goes, yeah, people do this, people love this, we should just let them do their thing with it. Yep. Star Trek and Star Wars are definitely one of those. Okay, so we begin with character creation. Now, Ruth, you decide you want to play a Klingon.
Yes, a Klingon doctor.
Do you have some paper set aside to start recording stats and stuff?
Yeah, I've got a whole notebook here.
Okay, so the way this works is your base race ends up adding certain things to the character automatically. And for Klingons, Vulcans, Tellarite, Romulan, Orion, Klingons. Klingons automatically have a +1 physical, +0 mental, +0 social, +0 fate, -2 weirdness, because we hardly ever see any psychic Klingons. You get 4 bonus health right away, but you get no bonus destiny or inner strength.
Okay.
I am going to copy-paste this and send it to you via email so that you'll have the race description ready to go. Dub. Yes, Gmail. What the heck? Come on. Compose. And we will talk about it a little bit as I do so. So Klingons have some advantages. The biggest one that the shows have talked to us about is the Klingon physiology. Klingons gain a +1 to any healing test because they actually have several redundant biological systems. There's actually a episode where Worf regrows part of his spine. Whenever you make a fate test to avoid any physical or mental disadvantage, you get this bonus also to prevent any permanent wounds. Klingons also get an extra action against any target they believe has wronged them or impugned their honor. It's called the revenge bonus. This costs the Klingon 2 destiny to invoke, however, and the target must have truly wronged the Klingon and not just be a foe/rival. Klingons have a +1 advantage for being a warrior culture, giving them a +1 to any personal close combat actions. Klingons have some negatives. They have a -1 boisterous disadvantage. Klingons are loud. They boast, they brag, they party because tomorrow they may die in battle or at their duty. They can be very hedonistic. They must make difficulty of +1 tests whenever carousing or some kind of hedonism is to be avoided. Yes, Klingons are essentially drunken frat boys. -1 disadvantage, honor bound. Klingons take their word and their honor and any perceived station or slight against it very seriously and must make mental tests of TN 6 or better to take actions that might harm their honor. So let's say you have to steal something. And it's not like during a battle or during a military operation. A Klingon would have to actually make a mental test to do that. -1 disadvantage for reputation. Many races have suffered because of Klingon policies. This means that many races, the Klingon will suffer a -1 social test or a -2 depending upon the era and race. -1 disadvantage. Warrior pride. Klingons are very easy to bait into tests of their skills. All attempts to taunt them gain a +1. You will see 2 different depictions of Klingon in the race section. The Imperial Klingon, as it's normally called amongst fans, which has the head ridges, and the fused Klingon, which essentially looks like a human with a bad iodine tan. These are the results of various makeup decisions by Paramount at various times. And from what I hear, the new Klingons for Discovery look even weirder. Oh. And they apparently wisely decided not to go with that. The ones in Strange New Worlds apparently look like the fused versions. I've not seen Strange New Worlds yet, but that would be in keeping with the time scale. There's also junk amongst fans because of a comic book that the ridges are actually a result of the Tribble incident. It was a viral response that all the Klingon species developed when the Tribbles were dumped on their home planet by the Heartless Federation. All right, so the next thing we need after we have that is I need to know, do you want to roll your life path randomly, or do you already have an idea for your character's advantages and disadvantages?
Not really.
Let's go ahead and do random rolls just to see what happens. Roll me a die 10. Michael, have you already done this process as well?
Well, I kind of was looking, and then we had the initial discussion regarding my character's idea.
Which I love.
Yeah. And then I looked at the tables, and I was unsure. Part of me just wants to roll this randomly.
And see what you get?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the biggest thing for being human is that humans in this game actually, all their stats start at +0, but they get to choose some advantages. You pick one advantages from the ones listed below. Have you seen the advantage list in the races section?
It's a very large list.
Yes, and you need to pick one of them.
Okay. All right. So
let me quickly copy paste it and send you an email of it.
where did you send that?
Michael Karoma at... Just sent it. Where'd it go? It just comes up as Michael. Hold on. That's your MELO account, 54 at Gmail.
Yeah, Maloki.
Yeah.
Oh, so you sent it to my Gmail. Okay.
Yeah, I tend to use Gmail. I used to use a lot of Yahoo, but I've kind of fallen out of love with them.
All right. Oh, there's the advantages. Okay.
This is our session 0 for this episodic campaign / filler. Ruthie, what did that D10 come up with?
I got an 8.
So you have a father and mother that are surviving and D3 siblings. Roll a D3 for me.
I rolled a D6 and got a 4.
So that'd be 2 siblings. Now, for each one of those, roll a D6, and I'll tell you what your current relationship with them is.
So I have a mother and father and 2 siblings.
Correct.
I'm a psychic.
You want to be a psychic?
Yep, psychic tier 2.
Okay.
Yes.
See, I was thinking you might take slick because of your whole original idea of being the shyster. We can do psychic.
Well, yeah, like it basically, I think this actually works better for that.
Okay.
Especially because he is an overconfident bastard.
Oh, so basically you're like going to make me take telepathy or empathy and you're using it to rig the games kind of thing?
Yep.
I'm not addicted. I can't actually lose. Oh, crap. They caught me on camera. Well, Michael, since we're doing that, since you know what you're going to do for that, why don't we go ahead and also do your birth years table. Roll me a D10 to see how many siblings you have and father and all that kind of stuff.
All right. I rolled a 1.
You're an orphan with no siblings.
Okay.
Ruthie, on those dice for your father, mother, and 2 siblings, what did you roll?
I rolled the D10 and then the D3. What was I supposed to roll next?
You're rolling a D6 for each family member to see what your relationship with them currently is.
Do I? Wow. Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. No relationships for you.
I rolled 3 3s and a 6.
So 3 of them have a neutral relationship with you, but one of them adores you. Roll that D6 again to see why they adore you.
Okay. Four.
You've always been there for them. So that probably best to one of your siblings.
Okay. Say the youngest sibling.
Yep. And we'll say you're the middle child. You have one. You're supposed to roll up. We'll say you're the middle child. You have one younger sibling, one older sibling. And we have no special birth, right? Correct. Okay, extended families. Guys, get some D6s.
Okay.
How many?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Jesus.
Do I also roll 7?
Yeah, we're going to do all the categories at once. That'll make this fast. After you roll them, do you have any 1s or 2s?
Well, I dropped one, so give me a second.
I have exactly 1, 2.
1, 2. You have a choice. Do you want a cousin, second cousin, or third cousin to be a negative category? In other words, you don't have any of them.
Let's go with third cousin.
Okay, so you have cousins and second cousins.
I rolled 2 2s.
Actually, you know what? Let's make cousins the negative category. So I have second cousins and third cousins, but no direct cousins.
Okay. So you had 2 2s. You can choose cousins, second cousins, or third cousins to not have any members of. They'd be negative categories. You have no relatives in that category.
I don't know, second and third cousins, I guess.
All right, write that down. Does anybody have any... Does anybody not have any 5s or 4s?
Not have any?
Not have any.
No.
I have 1 4.
You have only 1 4, but you have 5s and 6s?
I have 2 3s, 2 6s, 2 2s, and a 4.
Okay. So that means everybody's grandparents, uncles, and aunts are still living. So we got a little bit out of there that you have some cousins that you would normally have that aren't present in your family life, and I'm going to let you all detail that out later because it won't be important very much for this part of the thing. I use extended family upon occasion, but not as much as Star Trek does. All right, next one. Get a D10. Birth world locations. Roll to see where you were born.
1.
You were raised in the capital city of your home world, so you were raised on Earth, and if I remember correctly, Earth's capital is not San Fran, it's New York. Starfleet headquarters is in San Francisco. But New York, if I remember correctly, is actually the capital now.
Rolling a D10 again?
Uh-huh.
I got a 6.
6. You grew up on a major space station. Example, DS9. Family status and profession. Roll those D10s again.
D10s?
Uh-huh.
Okay. 2.
Impoverished migrant workers / laborers. Generic example, hard labor miners, most frontiersmen, etc. It makes sense that you're an orphan. Maybe the family had some tragedy on a work site or something. You somehow slipped through the bureaucratic cracks.
I got a 4.
Middle class / dependable incomes. Most landed civilians with a trade. Since you're a doctor, maybe your family was a doctor. Family legacy. Roll D10 again.
4.
Nothing special. Sorry.
Rolled a 6.
Nothing special. There's a range there. Hey, that's good. It means you don't have any debts or anything outstanding. Early life development. Roll a d10.
1.
Physical attribute package. You are a very active and athletic child growing up, perhaps a bit overconfident. You need to take the physical attribute package when we get to that segment.
I rolled a 3.
Mental attribute package. You are a studious and scientifically oriented child, perhaps a bit introverted.
Oh, that works.
Early life events. Roll a d20.
19.
Grand Tour. Your characters spent their youth traveling and meeting people, and they probably visited D3 plus 2 other planets. You should pick a culture that you love above all others and need not be alien. This would be a good blend in for it to be the Sekri, so we have someone who's familiar with the culture. Example, I put in there Jean-Luc Picard's adoration of his French heritage, Cisco's love of baseball in the South, for instance.
I rolled a 1.
Well, that means you're a war survivor. You are on a planet that was attacked by a hostile species. You might wish to take the hatred for that species as a disadvantage, or nightmares, or some other mental or physical disadvantage to reflect your trauma. I should point out...
I'm a Klingon. I'm not going to have nightmares. Hatred, sure.
Then you might want to take something else, like maybe a hatred. I should point out that the game setting I'm writing, the Vondra, the evil Vulcans of the setting, actually chased the Klingons out at one point. So that could be a thing.
I hate Vulcans.
The Vondra are a Vulcanoid. They're not Vulcans.
Oh, okay.
But I can understand how a regular Vulcan might set off your twitches too, because the two species look so similar. Young adult life. Roll a d20.
11.
20?
On 11, you are meditative. You spent your youth either in the halls of your race's religion or meditating or doing, quote, inner work. Since you took the psychic advantage, this makes a lot of sense. You should take the attribute focus mental, compassionate, +1 to console others, or attribute focus weirdness, psychic, +1 to use psychic powers. I think the psychic powers one's probably the better one for you.
Okay.
And Ruth, you had a 19, you said?
I rolled an 8.
An 8. Medical. You spent your youth helping others. You should take the attribute focus mental, healer, +1 to medicine tests. And then the training table is mostly for NPCs. It's what attribute skill package you pick, but you guys have already done that. Adult life, D100. You want to roll high.
Percentile dice?
Percentile dice, correct. There's 100 different events on here that are possible.
Rolling just once?
I was thorough. You roll just once.
Okay. 38.
Oh, you're out of the danger zone. That's good. 38. You fidget. You can't help it. You find yourself moving your legs, your fingers, etc.
I rolled a 34.
34. There is a place on a ship/station where people can constantly find you. You retreat there to reflect and relax. The location is out of the way, such as that little nook in the cargo bay where where no one can store anything. So there's some secret place you like to hole up. That then pages us down to past examples of characters. Physical packages. So the physical package adds +2 to your physical stat. -1 to your mental. Oh, I'm sorry. +0 to your mental. I read it the wrong way. +0 to your social. +1 to your fate, and -1 to your weirdness. The mental package has a -1 physical, a +2 mental, +0 social and fate, and +1 weirdness.
Okay, so there are only 5 stats.
There are only 5 stats in
basically.
simple D6, correct.
Okay. And what does the attribute psychic do? It increases weirdness by 1, or
by
what
1,
does it do?
correct. It's an attribute focus. So whatever your weirdness is, you would add that +1 to it, and that lets you work psychic ability.
Okay.
Alrighty then. So those are the base stats. Let me go to secondaries. Secondaries for everybody. These are first level characters. So your health starts at 15, plus whatever your physical attribute bonus is times 3. So if you have a physical attribute bonus of +2, you'd add 6 points. Ruth's character also adds an extra 4 points for being a Klingon.
So if I have a +1 physical, I add how many?
So if you have +1 physical, you would add 3 extra points. So you'd have a base of 18. 18 plus 4 then give you 22. And that's your starting health. The detailed system uses incremental health levels, so every level we go up, you get a little bit more health. The next stat is Destiny. It begins at 6 plus your fate bonus times 3.
Okay.
The next measure
6
is
plus 8 times 3.
plus your fate bonus times 3, correct.
Oh.
And then Sanity. Sanity is a measure of how well adjusted you and grip on reality the character has. It is tracked secretly by me, but you should record it to know how much you start with. It begins at 6 plus mental bonus times 3. And nobody has any corruption yet. Nobody is a cyborg or a mutant, so nobody has any bioreserve or memory, but Michael, being psychic, does have inner strength. And your inner strength, it starts at 6 plus your weirdness bonus times 3. By the way, your psychic attribute focus would figure into that.
Okay, so weirdness plus what times 3?
Weirdness times 3 to a base of 6. And if you have your psychic advantage, gives you a +1 to use psychic powers. I'm going to let you throw that into inner strength as well, so you get 3 more points of inner strength for that.
Well, that's the thing. Because I have the physical package, my weirdness is
A negative?
-1. 0 for psychic.
Okay.
So is that 0 times 3?
So right now you're at 6 base inner strength then.
Okay, 6. Okay.
Right now. But things are going to change because we haven't assigned any attribute, we haven't assigned any advantages, disadvantages, and that could bring stuff up. But this is where they're starting at right now.
All right.
Then we have charts for how to spend your destiny and stuff. Memory expenditures. Got the health, got the sanity. Attribute focuses. Now at this point, everybody gets to choose one attribute focus. And this is on page 21 of the rules. I'm going to quickly copy that chart and send it both to you as an email. I think it'll print off as a thing.
And is this in addition to the attribute focus I got in psychic for my
Correct.
background?
Correct.
Okay.
You get to pick one of these for free. And it worked. At least it looks like it worked in my Gmail.
Okay. Let me... Yeah, I need to turn my head to the side. One sec.
No problem. Ruth, I am sending you a copy of the medical profession. Didn't go through. Why not?
Okay, well, sometimes you just need to run away from security, so I'll do attribute focus quick.
Oh, I see why. This is gonna be a pain in the neck. Oh, God. Really? Motherfucker. All right, let us recompose that and go point at a time, since it's going to be... Oh, there we go. And Michael, what kind of character did you think you were making as far as profession?
Okay, well, that was sort of where I was kind of unsure, because he is a gambler, and he wants to go somewhere where he can be himself without scolds like Captain Picard making him miserable and asking him to be all moral and stuff.
So you don't think he'd be in command then?
Yeah, he's not a terrible person, however. So...
Would he be like a basic crew member? Or would he be a pilot, maybe? Or helmsman?
a psychologist.
That puts him in medical along with Ruth.
Oh, Ruth is in medical.
I'm okay with that. That make him like the ship's counselor. I don't mind that option if you want to do that. Let me run it off for you. Give me 1 second.
All right. Let's see. That engineer, command officer, comms officer. We're doing professions, right?
Correct. Sending you a copy of the ship's counselor option under medical.
Yeah, I can see it. I actually have the...
Okay, I didn't know if you did or you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I downloaded it when we spoke last time. Though you sending these little messages is great because it's a very large document, and this helps to pinpoint things.
Yeah, I could see how if you want to be slick with this would be a good thing to do, because like the easy to talk with advantage.
However, the same bonus does not apply to speech contests to persuade, flirt, intimidate. Counselors being experts in emotion deal with stress more easily than others.
But still, the fact that you're easy to talk with, people will just naturally passively open up, and you can use that.
Yes, I could. And I think we do need that. I'm just going to quickly look at the other options, just in case.
And again, anything you all don't play, I'll supply with an NPC. Just like the show.
Yes, we are true to the source material.
We are.
I love how the picture of Merchant is, of course, a Ferengi.
Well, yeah. They're the best at it.
All right. And what is Matt playing?
Matt is playing a Starfleet officer in the command branch. He actually has a bit of a problem he's trying to live down. Is how Section 31 got a hold of him for this mission. He was part of a mutiny. And somehow, right before he's supposed to go to trials, when Earth gets attacked by the Breen during the Dominion War, and the records of it kind of got lost, except for one copy that Section 31 is hanging on to. So they're basically blackmailing him on this mission.
Okay. You know what? Let's do some ship-to-ship combat. I'm not going to be a counselor. I'm going to be a pilot.
You're the pilot?
Yep.
Ikaru!
I think it only makes sense for my character to have healer as the attribute focus. Since, doctor.
It's definitely min-maxing. Darn it.
Mm-hmm.
try that again. So on those sections I sent you to your Gmails, you'll see it area listed as pilot or medical DSS, that stands for detailed skill list. Just write down those numbers for all those skills. Those are your base ratings in those skills. And I've already calculated them to most of them have no skill points remaining. You also get the advantages, and you have to take the disadvantages that are listed on those profiles.
Yes. So I have to take advantage, Barnes. So let me just... do a little copy paste here. Copy.
Okay. And we'll skip the detailed skill list because they're pretty descriptive. You all know what they are. And we go to choosing an advantage. Advantages in Simple D6 are pretty loose. They range between +1 to +5. You get a +1 advantage for free. If you wish, you can get better advantages, but those require you siphon disadvantages into them.
Okay, and the humans got the extra advantage. So
yeah,
that's
humans pick one from their human race list for free.
Okay. Very well then.
Now, the list of advantages is quite long. Does everybody have access to the file?
I do.
Okay.
Skill description. Agile Teke.
Agile Teak means that your telekinesis is more able to be used than normal. The other thing you can do too is you can siphon advantages into increasing your primary stats.
Right.
Thinking maybe evasive would be good for you. Character can nominate one opponent in close combat and gain extra +1 to defend against them. Or fleet, base movement's increased by 10 feet because, you know. Then there's also a gambler one, +1 to games tests.
I love how one of the advantages is just called spent time with Q.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that would be a disadvantage, though. I mean, by the end of it, I would just want to shoot myself.
As somebody who hasn't really watched a lot of Star Trek, is like Q a bad person or something?
No, Q is this very highly powered psychic being that is very fascinated by Jean-Luc Picard for some reason. And they've never really said why. We suspect that what's going on, at least the fans, is that the Q continuum, the species he belongs with, isn't really a species as much as it's a thing, and they're courting Picard for possible membership. Q can do things like alter reality at a will. He's basically a god. And he's very capricious. Oh. Sometimes he puts the crew into positions where they're in incredible danger. Other times when things are just incredibly funny. He can also be very, very helpful at times. There's a couple times he's actually saved planets. But whenever he shows up, typically chaos follows because he has an agenda about teaching people lessons about themselves, whether they want to learn them or not. Picture Loki, but in Star Trek, and you've got Q.
Yeah, he is a complete dick. Like, every single time I see him show up in the show, it's like, oh no.
I love how Cisco punched him.
Yes.
You hit me! Picard would never hit me. I'm not Picard. Michael is also a potent psychic. Your character is a +1 tier above the normal psychic for their race, so since you're already tier 2, that makes you tier 3.
Yeah, but I'm looking to see. I was thinking of that, and it would make a lot of sense. I'm looking at these other ones, however, to see if I find one more of them to be interesting or more interesting or hilarious. Otherwise, I'll take that.
Okay. Hey, Ruth.
What?
For your Klingon, what about taking what about taking skill focus and topping your medicine even more?
I'm like not. I got stuck on trying to figure out a name for my character.
Oh, no problem. We're picking the free advantage you get. You get a +1 advantage for free. And the +1 advantage that's listed here is skill focus. That adds +1 to any particular skill that you use that can't be a combat skill. That may be a good one for medicine.
Kama Sutra is an advantage.
Another good one for Klingon, though, would be wary, which is +1. You get a +1 to spot ambushes, threats, and concealed weapons.
Okay, these are fun, but you know what? Psychic powers are fun too. What was the name of that advantage, James?
Popping back up to it. Potent Psychic +1. It has 3 levels, actually. Sorry, 2 levels, actually. 1 and 2. And since you're stacking on top of your tier 2 ability, you automatically become tier 3. The tiers represent how powerful psychic ability you can manifest.
All right.
All right. Now, no character is perfect. Characters may choose up to 4 -1 value disadvantages or any combination thereof equaling -4 points, which is double what we normally allow, but this is Star Trek, bigger game. 2 points negative disadvantages may be traded for a +1 increase to a primary attribute. -1 disadvantages may be traded for additional attribute foci. And that brings me on to part 2. Example of disadvantages. A good -1 disadvantage. Accent. Alcoholic. Alcoholic level 2 is worth 2 points. Animal animosity. Blunt. I can see blunt for Ruth's doctor. Must make a social test at once a scene or say the wrong thing or deliver information bluntly. You have to take at least one -1, by the way.
So, what would disadvantage gambling addict be just in and of itself?
How severe is the addiction?
It's bad.
Look at least a -2, maybe a
This man
-3.
is very lucky that he lives in a post-scarcity economy. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah. We would base it off of alcoholic. Alcoholic level 2, which is a -2 disadvantage. Characters make a mental test of TN 5 or better in the presence of alcohol to avoid drinking. So for you to be in presence of gambling games or gamble. Once they start drinking, they must make the same test to stop or become greatly intoxicated, or in your case, doubling down, spending more money, etc., etc.
Right.
And that's worth 2 points.
Okay. And let's see, he's a pilot, so is there an adrenaline junkie disadvantage?
I believe actually there is. I think I wrote it as danger junkie. Hold on. Yep, danger junkie, -1. Something about taking risks does it for you. You suffer a -1 to avoid taking risky physical actions when Sage asks you to make a mental test to avoid it. The more fun the danger would be, the higher the TN is the difficulty.
All right. Okay, so we'll stick with these two for now.
-3 points altogether. Now, if those -3 points, you can
otherwise
go back
it
and...
would not be functional.
Right, now if
They
those
would
negative
toss it out the airlock.
now if those negative 3 points, you can now go back and like increase attributes. Like for 2 of those points, you can increase one of your primary attributes. Or you could buy different attribute focuses, or you could buy different advantages.
Okay, so for 2 of those points, I could increase 1.
One
So it's 2 to 1
primary
for
attribute by
attribute.
+1, correct.
All right. So it's 2 to 1 to increase an attribute by 1, and 1 to 1 for a focus.
For a
Got
focus or advantage, correct.
it. Okay. All right, so let's get rid of that.
That may sound big, but realize that the attribute focus narrows down what part of the attribute we're talking about, but increasing the whole attribute increases the whole attribute. So everything that attribute would do.
Oh, no, I completely understand.
So like if your physical, it'd be your strength, your agility, your fortitude, all of that got increased by +1. That's why it's a big deal.
All right, and that gives me 1 more for an attribute focus.
Yep. I love role-playing. It is so soothing. I don't know why more people don't do this. Oh yeah, I do. They're not geeks.
Or don't have enough imagination.
Poor bastards. So Ruth, for your doctor, what -1 disadvantage are you thinking of taking? I think blunt's probably a good one.
I'm still looking at the advantages. You guys have just blown right past, like, well past where I'm at, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to get some coffee making. I'll be right back.
All right, I did it.
Hysterical to get. It would be hysterical to get the harmless advantage. Everybody thinks that she's harmless because she's a doctor. She's a Klingon, but she's harmless because she's a doctor. She's not violent like the rest. That would be pretty funny, but I don't know.
It's just extremely blunt and has no bedside manner whatsoever. To the point where she gets frequently cited by the Federation because she's constantly saying inappropriate things to patients.
I know.
Not like flirtatious or anything like that, but.
No, she just keeps like, yes, you're going to die. It'll be a good death.
All right.
Oh. But she's really soft-hearted. I don't know. I don't know. He's a freaking Klingon. Like, I don't know exactly how girly female Klingons are, but like. Okay, so. Hello. No.
Oh, I'm back. Everybody with me?
David Dice Dugan is ready to roll.
David Dice Dukin?
Yep.
You say it, all I can think is Andrew Dice Clay now, but in a Star Trek uniform. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her cousin away. Along came a spider and said, that whole bit. Boy, there's someone who only had 15 minutes of fame, right?
Yeah.
So, Ruth, have you chosen your advantage yet for your doctor?
Well, I was thinking either medical prodigy or quick healer?
Okay, I can see either one of those. Medical prodigy obviously will increase your ability to perform your role, but it's also a +2 advantage, which means you'll have to put your -1 disadvantage into that to get it. You get one.
Let's go with quick. Let's just go with quick healer then.
Well, it can still be done because you've got a +1 advantage automatically, and you have to take a -1 disadvantage automatically. You can combine those to get medical prodigy. You're going to have to take a disadvantage, but you have to anyway. Then if you want to take quick healer later, you can take other disadvantages as well, unless you want to limit the number of disadvantages your character has.
I don't know what's the list of disadvantages here.
Well, typically, I use a formula to it. A -1 disadvantage is not that bad. -2 is where you have to really start worrying about it. -3 or more is where it starts getting really severe. Like, for instance, here's a -1 disadvantage. Bad habit. You have advice you know you shouldn't indulge in, but in moments of stress or when resting, you feel inclined to indulge. It could be smoking, drinking to excess, promiscuity, etc. The habit is not severe enough to be an addiction, but you should roleplay possessing it. If you don't, or there's a long gap, a sage might make you make a mental test of 3 or better to avoid indulging.
I think blunt would actually make a lot of sense.
Blunt's a very Klingon trait. I could see that. So you could take blunt and then also take the medical prodigy, and you'd technically be done. You don't have to take any more if you don't want to. Reminds me, I gotta find some background music for our sessions that we can play on Big Daddy YouTube without anyone getting mad. Is that a Lessie I just heard?
No, what was the TV?
Okay. So, since he's psychic... So, Michael, Tier 3 psychic abilities are considered average psychic ability for the setting. This is the tier the races that have dedicated psychics expressed, such as the Betazoids. Exceptional humans and potent Vulcans are other examples. This is an uncommon level of power. Psychic links, sphere of psychics, psychics in range. Powers, where did I list how many you start with?
This is the equivalent of learning that you are a wizard and instead of saving Hogwarts, using it to just try to get rich.
Yeah.
So basically, my character has kind of the same personality as... Oh god, what was the name of the legendary captain that they found in First Contact?
Oh, not Pike. Zephyr Cochrane.
Yep. He and Zephyr Cochrane would very much agree on many things.
So I'm going to allow you to have, since I can't find where it's written right now, I'm going to allow you to have 3 different psychic powers, all tier 3 and down. The way I was working it is that each psychic power is also a skill. There are basically, if I remember correctly, there are 4 types.
Yeah.
You have 4 types: telepathy, psychometabolism, clairvoyance, and psychokinesis. From what you described, it sounds like clairvoyance would be the one you primarily favor.
Yeah.
Command power is the power to see the
Clairvoyance,
future.
and it would be 2 would definitely be clairvoyance and psychokinesis, being able to manipulate die rolls and that sort of thing.
Okay. So take 3 powers from between those, and as far as skill packages goes, I'm going to say that right now you have both of those. I'm just going to give you those 2 skills for free at the moment. You have both those skills at +1 to represent your familiarity with them and you're focusing on them. If you learn neuropsychic skills, you have to start at the negatives all skills start with and then build your way up.
Got it. All right, so I'm looking at the specialty skills. I see them. Clairvoyance and psychokinesis, but I don't see any skills that draw from them.
They're linked to your weirdness.
Well, yeah, they're definitely linked to my weirdness. That's
Okay, hold on. Let me page up to where you are. You're in where? The skill section?
yeah. Technically, the page that I am on is page 43.
Thank you. Okay. Sure, we're talking about the same thing. Another option of skills to have skill focus.
At least clairvoyance makes sense. Big test involves person.
Oh, okay. So you make a specialization of those skills, is what you're telling me.
Oh, no. I have no problem with the specialization of them. I thought that was what you wanted me to do. But yeah, no. If these are the skills themselves, then yeah, sure.
Yeah, those are the skills themselves. So you're going to take psychokinesis and clairvoyance both at +1 for free. I'm going to give those to you for free to represent your long history since you've grown up with these skills, learning them over the course of your entire life. You don't have to put skill points into them. That's a little fudging, but I don't mind that because I'll have something going on to offset that, a secret disadvantage that you don't know about. Nothing's for free, baby!
Oh, don't worry. I don't expect it to be. And how many skill points do I have?
Well, right now you don't have any. We've already spent them all. If you take the profiles at 0.
Very good.
I did that just for ease of play to make that quick. Go ahead, Ruth.
So for the skills, how do we do that?
So in that blurb that I sent you in the email, you'll see where all your skill levels start for being a doctor. You'll see so many skills are +3, so many skills are +2, some are +0, some are -1, some are -2.
Okay.
Alrighty then. And once again, thank you both for being willing to do this with my experimental system. After hearing, although Mephidius' system works well for Star Trek, I listened to the sessions, I'm like, yeah, this kind of feels like Star Trek, and yeah, it's alright. It still seems a little odd to me, the way they're deciding to do things. I've never liked roll-under systems, and that's what all their games are based on, and it really does not fit canon at all. At all. I don't know how they got that copyright. Alrighty then. So next up then, we got our skills, we got our advantages, we got our disadvantages, we got our secondaries. Mike, what powers are you taking? Because I think that's the only thing we have left to choose.
Okay, well, I thought the powers were the...
Those are the skills. You actually have to pick powers as well. Let me send you a list of the powers for clairvoyant and for psychokinesis. And you can have...
Lovely.
You have any of these up to tier 3, but you must pick 3 individual powers.
Got it.
And these match what I consider to be what we've seen in Star Trek so far. From the smallest examples up to the grand Apollo grabbing the Enterprise with the telekinetic fist. And they also have detailed sections. Once you pick a power, I'll send you the detailed section, so you have it.
Okay. Okay, so we need 3 of these total.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. One. What is psychometry?
Psychometry is touching an object and seeing its past. If I remember correctly, I actually expanded it so you can also get it from get an impression from places as well. Let me double check. Psychometry, Tier 1, ability to see something meaningful in the item's past. If the item is important to the plot, the psychic sees something of the sage's discretion. The information gained is similar to the information gained from postcognition. Postcognition is what I did for places. The more degrees of success achieved, the clearer and better the information. Let me send you a copy of the power. Coming now.
All right. So these were the powers that I chose. Future Sight Tier 2, Tech-Atrix Tier 1, and Prediction Tier 1.
All right, let me grab Future Sight first. Michael. Prediction was another one.
Yeah. I went through, I didn't change the tier numbers because I figured those were the ones you wanted for, Tier 3 Psychic. So Prediction Tier 1, Tiki Tricks Tier 1, and Future Sight Tier 2.
Okay, here comes Prediction. The last one was Teak Tricks, right?
Tiki Tricks, yeah.
Teak Crush, Teak Hand, Teak Lift, Teak Shield, Teak Push, Teak Rend. Teak Tricks, Tier 1. Here you go.
All right, I got him. Thank you very much.
Okie dokie.
Yep, just waiting on Tiki Tricks, which I imagine will show up in my email pretty soon.
Excellent.
Yep, there we go.
Well, if that's that, then we're actually ready to go.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to pause recording. Which is still showing us going.